Hey, do you think Maine is boring? Have you heard a lot of people saying like, hey, there's not much going on up there in Maine, there's not a lot to offer? Well, today I'm going to talk to you about how some of that might not be true. Maine has a lot to offer, and I'm going to go through a few different categories and give you some of my personal experiences on a few things. And you're going to really want to stick around, especially the last one is kind of near and dear to my heart, and I'm going to talk about that at the end, so stick around. If you can help us out, if you have something to say, comment below, hit the like button, subscribe to us. That really helps us out with the YouTube algorithms. And also, we're real estate brokers. If you're thinking of making a move here, if you have a property to sell or anything at all regarding real estate, please feel free to reach out to us. Either myself or somebody on my team will get back to you right away, and we really look forward to talking to you. My team kind of gave me a few categories to look at here and kind of give some of my personal experience on some of these, just to say that, hey, Maine does have a lot to offer, and I want to talk about some things that are, important to me. So the first thing that the category here that's written is Maine's natural beauty. The first thing that comes to my mind on this is almost every morning. See, I live out here in Cape Elizabeth, which is a great town, and it is a waterfront town. Almost every morning, I make a loop around when I drive to work, because I actually live just like a couple miles from my office. And I like to kind of drink coffee and listen to a podcast on the way to work. So I kind of go for a loop. Almost every morning, I drive by the ocean, and in particular, I go to a place called Kettle Cove. Every morning, I drive into Kettle Cove, and it's this beautiful little cove, ocean front. There's like an island out there. There's lobster boats bouncing around. And for that, even just like, 30 seconds of, doing the loop in the parking lot and leaving as I'm looking at the ocean, it just makes you feel great. It just makes you remember that, hey, life is good. Life is good here in Maine. How many people on this planet have an opportunity to do that every single morning? And I get to. And a lot of us up here in Maine get to see those things every single day. And that's just one case. We drive right by the ocean constantly. Sometimes we take it for granted, but me in the morning, when I drive by Kettle Cove, I try to take a minute and just think about how grateful I am that we live in this area and be able to see that every morning. That's what Maine is really known for, is the natural beauty. And hey, if you don't like the ocean, and some people don't, maybe it's the smell or they just don't like the ocean, whatever it is, Maine has a ton of lakes. So you got that. If you like water frontage, if you don't like water frontage, man, there's some mountain views, there's some wooded views, you can go hiking. There's tons of things to do to bring in the natural beauty of Maine. There's a lot. It's amazing. Number 2 we have down here is arts and culture. Not everybody's gonna like what I do personally. I kind of like the dive bars and like the heavy music and rock and roll. That's kind of my thing. I go to places like Gino's in Portland and a few other like rock places. If I were to go out, that's my thing. And I love the culture that Maine has for that, is just get down and like let's listen to some rock music. That's my jam. I know that's not for everybody, but there's a lot of great venues if you like music. There's Thompson's Point. There's a lot of other great places that play all sorts of music if that's your jam. And there's some great art here. There's the Maine College of Art and Design here. Even just the whole city of Portland is really great to cruise around, and there's a lot of culture, and there's also a lot of cool little towns sprinkled throughout Maine that we've done a lot of videos on that really have a ton of art and music and just great culture. If you really want to dive into that part of it, Maine has a lot to offer around that. Number 3 I got here is delicious food. Whenever somebody comes here to Maine, in particular the Portland area, and they say, what's like a must-have? What do I gotta go have? I can't talk this up enough. There's a restaurant called Eventide seafood place. So they have this like brown butter roll that's almost like a steamed bun style roll, and it's a lobster roll, and it's probably one of the most delicious things I've ever had in my life. And I can't over talk it. Like, I've had people come in and they're like, you're overdoing it. It's not going to be nearly that good. And then they sit down and have one, and it is as good as I'm explaining. Now, another place here in Cape Elizabeth, there's a farm called Jordan Farm, and they have a little restaurant there. It's only open in the summer, and it's called The Well. And this is a great like farm to table place. You have to make reservations because it's, they have limited seating, and it's kind of like almost outdoor seating type thing, screened in, but anyway, so they have limited seating, so you gotta book it. But it's like everything comes right from their farm onto the table, and it's a coursed meal, so it's like, you get what you get routine, but it's really spectacular, and the setting's awesome. You're sitting out in like farm, and you got great views of the fields, and they just kind of give you food and tell you about it, and you eat it, and it's just such an experience. But there's a lot of that kind of stuff here in Maine, and it's really wonderful. And I highly recommend, like, if you're a foodie, you got to come to Portland and just kind of bounce around. And if you want more ideas, comment below. I'll give you some more ideas of where to go. Really some great places here. Adventure sports. Maine's got a ton of adventure sports. I mean, a couple things in my experience here. Have you ever been whitewater rafting? Because it's a lot of fun. And there's a couple rivers here that you can do whitewater rafting on here in Maine. I've done it a bunch of times. Up at the Forks in Maine is one. I think there's also the Kennebec is another river that you can do it, or the Penobscot is another one. It's a lot of fun. I mean, we've had a group of friends go up there and whitewater raft. We've had guys fall out of the boat, and one guy was like holding the ankle, dragging the other guy along. Nobody got hurt, but it was very, very entertaining. We've had the boats flip over. We've had everything that you can think of happen in whitewater rafting, but it's all safe. The guys know what to do and all that stuff, and it's a lot of fun. It's a great experience, but that's one. A lot of people like to go skiing, snowmobiling. I personally took the whole family up snowmobiling one time. We rented them like a guided tour routine, and that was a lot of fun. I gotta admit, just going through the woods in Maine in the winter, it's very, very cool. And those guides that take you out there, they know where to go to see things like moose and a lot of cool birds and stuff like that, so I highly recommend that. I love playing hockey in the winter. That's one thing that we do. We like to scope out lakes and stuff that you can go out and cruise around and have fun. We've done videos about a lot of this stuff, so check it out, especially hockey. If you're watching this and you've watched a few of my videos, you know I'm a hockey fan. So there's rock climbing. A lot of people do that. There's a lot of just cool things if you like to get outdoors and do some adventure style sports. Maine has a lot to offer, so I'd highly recommend come on up and check that out. Historical attractions. Fort Williams here in Cape Elizabeth, you know, Portland headlights out there. That's a very cool place to go walk around. We've done some videos on that. Maine, we're a super old state, and there's a lot of history here in Maine. So almost everywhere you go, you can find a historical attraction. Now here in Portland area, I love to talk about Fort Gorgeous, which I lovingly call Chia Fort. You have to take a boat out there or like a canoe kayak, and you can reach it with a canoe or kayak, you know, from Portland if you wanted to get out there. It's a super cool fort to get out there and look around. It's a lot of fun that those forts are there, and you can learn a lot of history about why they're there, you know, what they were used for and all that kind of stuff. And I think we've done some videos on both Chia Fort and Fort Williams, and you can check those out. But again, all those islands out in Catskill Bay have a lot of history, and there's a lot of history here in Maine. So if you like historical attractions, there's a ton here. Now, community events, community and events. So this is where I want to talk about something near and dear to my heart, and that's the Rotary Club. I'm a member of the Rotary Club up here, and we do a ton of great community things, but I love being part of that type of organization. There's a few types of those organizations, but we give a lot back to the community, and we're very community focused, and it's just really a great thing. It's like, you know, small gatherings, just really getting to know the community and helping out. The Rotary Club is a charity organization, so we give a lot of money back to the community, but there's also just a lot of great things like farmers markets and things like that that you can get involved in local events. If you just want to be involved in the community, it's very, very easy to do here in Maine because we're a small community, and that's great. So anyway, guys, hopefully this was helpful. If you have any questions, comment below, hit like, hit subscribe, hit that notification, all that good stuff. That would really help us out. Thanks for watching, and remember, if you make Maine your home, you don't have to do it alone. Please make sure that you subscribe to the channel and one of these buttons over here. You get a lot of great information about real estate, the state of Maine, cool things to do, all that kind of stuff. And of course, if you have any questions at any time, comment below or hit us up on all social media platforms, and we'd love to help you out. And we love talking about Maine and real estate in Maine.